Hey guys, it's Lebs here. So today I'm going to be giving you some car buying tips and advice and suggestions on what to look out for and what to do and how to go about, choosing the right car for you and getting a good deal. So I've bought a few cars and sold a few cars in my life. So I've just decided to put together this video to help whoever might be in the market, whether you're a first time buyer or you got screwed over the last time and you're looking to make better decisions in the future. So these are my tips, and this is not any financial advice, but maybe some of you might find this helpful. So the first thing you want to do is draw up a budget. So a budget will have your income and your expenses, and it'll show you how much you have left at the end of the month to put towards your car repayments. So a lot of the banks in South Africa have online budget calculators, which will help determine the maximum value of the car you want to buy and will help assess whether you can afford to get a car loan. Okay, so I'll drop a couple of links in the description which you can check out, and this is your first step. So you need to know how much you want to spend on your vehicle before proceeding. So the second thing you want to do once you've got your price, whether it's 100,000, 150 or 300,000 rand, is you want to search for a car online. Okay, this is what I usually do, and I think it's the best thing to do, seeing as you don't have to drive around car dealerships looking for vehicles. So there are a couple of websites you can go to, and then I suggest you filter using the vehicle price. So as soon as you land on the website, just put in the maximum price which you can afford to pay, or the maximum price of the vehicle you want to buy. Okay, and then once you're on there, it'll give you a whole bunch of cars. You might get hundreds, you might get 1,000 probably. So it's important to go through all those so you can see what your options are. It's important to assess your own needs and requirements when looking for a car. Are you going to use it for a lot of off-road driving? Are you going to use it for a lot of long distance driving? Do you have a large family? Do you need a faster car, or can you do with a slower car or a smaller car? Do you need a large family sedan, or do you need a hatchback? Do you carry a lot of equipment to your workplace or to friends and family? So these are things that you need to kind of think about when you go into your search. Make sure that the car you're going to buy is fit for the purpose you're going to buy it for. Because buying a small car and expecting it to go at 300 kilometers per hour is not going to make sense, or expecting to carry probably a fridge or a bed on the roof of the car. Maybe it's not such the smartest thing to do. So it's important to assess what you need the car for when looking for a vehicle to buy. Once you've landed on a car that you like, it's important to do research on the car. So by research, I mean find out if it has any future problems, or if it is very reliable or not. So if you have a friend who's an auto mechanic, so it's best to ask them if this car is good to buy or not, or if it's very problematic, especially when it's older. So some suggestions I'd give is to look for a car that's ideally less than 10 years old. Best case scenario is less than 5, which is even better. But of course, those cars are prone to have higher value. Okay, so once you look for a car, try to look for one that's at least 10 years old. 5 is better, brand new is the best, but that of course goes in line with your budget. Once you've landed on a car that you like and you've done your research and you're happy with it, it's best to get a quote from the dealership. So a quote from the dealership will include any VAT and any added extra options. So these things vehicle dealerships like to add onto the car, like window tinting, they'd like to add on the road costs and licensing costs. So it's important for you to get all those up front so you know how much you're going to need to spend to buy the car. So I would suggest not telling the dealer that you have a deposit, as this will likely make them inflate some costs because you may be seen as being able to afford the vehicle in question. So it's important to get a quote from the dealership so you can see what the true value of the car you're about to buy is. Okay, so once you have this quote, you can use it to get an insurance quote. So another thing that you need to consider when buying a car is how much it will cost to insure it. Ideally, you'd want to have comprehensive vehicle insurance on the car in case something happens to it and you can't drive it anymore. Whether, unfortunately, having an accident in the car and needing it to be replaced completely instead of repaired, it's better to get comprehensive insurance. But I'll make another video on that if you guys are interested in it. So use the quote from the dealership, send it to the insurance providers, and they'll be able to give you a quote on how much it would cost you to cover the vehicle in full, or third party or otherwise. Okay, once you have this insurance cost added to, just make sure it's in line with the budget that you did earlier on, and just reassess whether you can still afford the car or not. Because some cars have high insurance costs and some cars have are relatively cheaper to insure. So it's important to get this figure before you buy the car. The next thing you want to do is then you want to go view the car at the dealer, possibly test drive it, which is the best, because now you know what things to look out for when buying a car. So this will also give you an opportunity to ask the dealership if there are any problems with the car. Does it have an oil leak, or do the tires need to be replaced? Do the brakes need to be replaced? When was the last time it went for service? It also gives you a chance to assess the interior of the car and just make sure it's of a good quality, because you don't want torn up seats, or you don't want a sunroof that doesn't work, or you don't want a handle that doesn't work, for example. So it's important to go view the car yourself and just give it a test drive, see how it feels to drive it, feel how it is to observe from within the car, or can you see all the blind spots? Do all the mirrors work properly for your body type? Whether you're big or you're small, can you see out of the car? So it's important to figure out these things with the test drive and viewing the car in person. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is ask the dealership for a discount. Okay, so just try your luck. They might agree, they might not agree, but just give it a shot, because you might be surprised. Some dealerships will be able to give you maybe 5, 10 or 15% discount on the car just because you asked. If you don't ask, then you don't get it. Once they agree on a discount, it's important to get an updated quote. Okay, so they mustn't just say they'll give you a discount, but on paper there was really no discount. So it's important to get your finalized quote, which is required for the next step. Okay, the next step I'd suggest you do is get finance yourself. Okay, so a lot of dealerships will ask you to join us, get a cup of coffee, and then let's see how much you can afford to buy, or what interest rate you're going to get from the different banks. So they might coerce you into making a decision on the spot and applying for finance on your behalf. So by applying for finance yourself, you're likely to get a better rate, and you get to do it at your own time without any pressure from someone telling you to accept the deal, or this is the best you're going to get, or this will expire in a few months or a few days rather. So it's important to get finance yourself from who you bank with, or any other bank online for that matter. They're always happy to assist, and just give them a call, or you can do it online, and they'll tell you whether or not you qualify for the car. So banks tend to be more honest with this as opposed to the car dealer. So the car dealer might try to coerce you into buying a car you can't really afford just because the monthly payments fit into your budget. But you might be surprised to find that they might include like a balloon payment, or they might reduce the interest rate for the first 6 months or 3 months, and then after, your car installment prices will go up. So they may not always be transparent in the true cost of buying a car. So getting it yourself is the way to go, and then your banker or the bank in question will give you a code, and then you can go to the dealership and just say, hey, I got a quote from my bank, so please send my documents to the bank that I got finance from, and that will make it also much quicker to get financing. Once your financing has been approved and all the parties are happy, then they'll start the process for you to pick up your car. So this could include making sure the car is washed, making sure all the licensing and registration documents have been approved and they're in your name. So expect this to take like a day or two at most. And then always make sure to ask about the conditions of what the warranty is or what the servicing requirements are. So for example, you don't want to drive the car off the dealership floor and then the next week you have an oil leak. Just make sure that you ask the dealership, what do I do in that instance? Am I able to return the car to you guys, or what should I do? So a lot of the time we get too excited when buying cars to the point that we forget about all those things. We just want to drive the car, but not thinking about the liabilities we may have or the costs we may incur in the future. So yeah, I hope this advice helps some of you out and help make a better decision. So if there's anything you'd like me to clarify on, or if you have any suggestions for another video, please feel free to drop it in the comment box. And yeah, see you guys later. Cheers.